Hey dolls. Hey, hey. How's everybody doing? Happy Halloween. Just making sure I have this set up the right way, so just bear with me. I'm going to let people join. I am shooting this live for Facebook Live, and then I'm also shooting this for YouTube. That is going to be my goal now going forward, until Facebook allows you to share stuff on YouTube. I don't know if that's going to ever happen, because you can certainly share stuff from YouTube to Facebook. Like, this part I don't understand. Like, why am I allowed to share? Like, small rant here. Why am I allowed to share my stuff on Instagram to Facebook, but not from Facebook to Instagram? Or why am I allowed to share stuff from YouTube to Facebook, but not Facebook to YouTube? Like, they do understand there are content creators on Mother Love and Facebook, right? Like, hello. I'm going to be manifesting that tomorrow, okay? So let me just make sure that this is all working, bells and whistles, all that kind of good stuff. And then we will get right into it. Okie dokie artichokes. Okay, yeah, that's me. All right. We're live. All right, guys. And please somebody tell me if this background music is too loud. Because it's just supposed to be like an essence, not an actual, like, I'm not a DJ here playing like freaking 432 HC music. All right, so today is the blue full moon, which is not actually blue. I don't think. I mean, you can fact check me, and I was kind of blown by this too, because I thought we were going to have an actual blue full moon. But what makes a blue moon is when there's two full moons within a 30-day cycle, or in the same month, something like that, but basically the same thing, I guess. So sorry if you were looking for the blue color. I don't think that goes with all the other colors, like pink and super red or all that kind of stuff. But tonight is a full moon, and typically full moons, if you are into full moon types of rituals, you're going to be manifesting. And I am a novice in all of this, you guys. So, like, if you're like, no, we don't, that's when we release. That might be true, actually. Maybe that's the new moon you manifest. But I don't like to get caught up in rules, because ultimately you are the rule. You are the divine curator and creator of your universe. So what the rule may be for others, you do have to understand that you govern yourself. Now, with that said, as a collective, with collective energies grouping together, thinking upon similar vibrational levels, there's going to be a power in that. So I believe that most of us are releasing today. And we manifested yesterday, and we're manifesting tomorrow. Now understand this, you and you, everybody, y'all can manifest every mother loving freaking day, okay? Again, we're just talking about collective energy here. Already we have a light that is on strike. Okay, Teamsters light, go over here. I guess I didn't charge it. All right, let me get my notes. All right, so what you're going to want to manifest, or what you're going to do, is think about today, tonight, throughout the day, whenever you see this, because it's going to be timeless regardless, what you want to release in your life. For me, it's going to be old thought patterns, old programming, things like, which I feel like I've got a really good handle on this, but that's also that could be a pothole or a dangerous zone when you think, oh yeah, I got this, I don't need help. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, I need help. So the things that I think I got mastered, I'm going to be releasing those things so that I don't get caught up in ego. So let me read you guys what I'm releasing. I think I said that 7 times. All right. Old, lower vibrational parts and remnants in me. So things that just are old. Thought patterns like victim mentality. Like I used to always have a reason why I did or behave a certain way. It was always, well, if this person would have never done this, or if these things would have never done that, or if I would have had a better life, childhood, all the things, okay, that all actually are your truth, okay? Like they are the things that make sense. It's not like you're just being a brat. Those things did or did not happen, and therefore they had sometimes traumatic effects on us, on you, on me, okay? But instead of just saying, well, if this didn't happen, or this is why I am this way, or this is why I'm not this way, and all the things that come with that, you're going to release your victim mentality, because what you want to understand and understand and then overstand. And I'm sorry, I know I'm probably talking to the Facebook Live more than I am the YouTube. Please forgive me, YouTube, but I'm just used to doing lives. But I'll get there. I'm just going to pretend you're 2 different people, although I just see myself. So understand and overstand that. What the hell was I saying? Damn. Mm-hmm. I was talking about. Oh, yeah. Look at your notes. Anybody can type anything at any minute on the live if they remember what the last goddamn thing I was saying. I just bit down into a blueberry seed. I know it's talking about lower vibration. Welcome to me. This is me. Well, Julie, we've only got moments here. Like, all right, it's gonna come back to me. Lower vibrational. And there it is. It came back. Manifested it right away. Like your childhood trauma and things like that. You just have to release that and realize that anything that occurred in your life, first of all, try not to use the words happened to me. Anything that occurred in your life ultimately was there to enhance you in a way. Even though it may not have felt like an enhancement, it might have felt very much like your soul was being crushed alive. It was an enhancement, because nothing is taking place in your life ultimately for your higher purpose. So versus looking at it as like, this happened to me and I'm a victim. We probably don't say, oh, I'm a victim, but the behaviors are very victim-like. So what you want to do is look for the blessing, the thing that you got out of that situation. Usually it does happen like hindsight 2020, like you're not in the moment. When you get really good at alchemy, because that's what this is, you actually can be in the moments, like not maybe in the direct hit moment, but in the like waves after that, like where it still just happened. When you get really good at becoming an alchemist, which is the same thing that we say, like making lemonade out of lemons, okay? Then it just adds more power to the not being a victim and seeing the positive. And this is where you don't stay in those murky waters, and then whatever it is that happened doesn't have a as long lasting effect on you, because you can see, well, or trust, maybe you can't see, that this is going to be for my highest good. But when it's hindsight 2020 and you can look back and say, well, actually, had this not occurred in my life with this person at this time, I would not have moved. And when I moved, I met a new friend that I'm still in contact with, or enhanced and brought something into my life at the moment that I needed it. Okay, so you just want to look for those things. So if you still have old trauma, and probably a way to figure out, well, do I have old trauma? Because maybe you think, no, I'm not over it. No, I don't live in the past, or anything like that. When you think about things in your past that have hurt you, that you're not over. You're probably feeling the emotion still. You're probably either going to cry or feel like you're going to cry. You probably maybe even are angry, all the things, okay? That's how you know you still have that trauma in here somewhere. Now, we can all be triggered where we can be, have released some trauma, but then certain things that look like, sound like, feel like, smell like, oh my God, don't fall, Julie. Then yes, you can be triggered. But it takes time and practice to realize like, I'm being triggered, and remove yourself from the things that are triggering you. But when you can recognize and understand that things happen for a reason and you move forward, this is what will help you in releasing. I think that's what I'm going to, is just releasing things. So when you release those childhood traumas and living in the past or victim mentality, you are more open for what the universe is trying to bless you with. Because in those mentalities, you're very much like this. Like, yes, sure, there's some openings if you can manage to get through them, okay? But if the blessing is this big, how is it going to get through that? You know what I'm saying? So this is what I would encourage you with, because this is what helped me tremendously shift from one form of living to the one that I have now, where now I can go into my mind and think about the things that disappointed me in my childhood or recent past and not be moved either way about it. Like, it happens. It's fine. I even get it. Like, I get what they did. I get it. I understand it. I understand it. And it makes a big difference, guys, so that how you can be in everyday life. Because when you're a victim mentality, it's not just for that one thing. It'll probably trickle down into everything else. All right. But I'm going to end that conversation because I was just sharing with you guys. They should just call me Soapbox. What I was releasing. Maybe I should release long effing motherfucking lectures. Let me write that down, because like I really do get caught up in that. Let me see. Releasing long tangents that are sidebars for sidebars. Well, I don't have a pen, so maybe it's not meant to be. All right. I'm releasing soul ties that don't serve me. Soul ties, I think, come into your life sexually as well as like metaphysically or physically. When you're around somebody, you can pick up their energy and vice versa. That's something that I don't think has been taught. It's definitely taught now more, like, safe sex, use a condom, this, that, and the other. But definitely, you can't use a condom for like soul ties. Now, maybe there's a way like sage and, this, that, and the other. And if you vibe at a certain frequency, sure, none of those things would probably, take a hold of you. But when you don't know these things, then they definitely can have an impact on your life. So I'm releasing old soul ties that don't serve me. And I would imagine that there are some that do serve me. So I'm not releasing those ones. Old beliefs that disempower me, I'm releasing that. So mostly I feel like I said, most of these I feel like, yeah, I did that, but I'm just doing a checks and balance system. So old beliefs that disempower me. Well, I used to believe that like I had to have what did I believe? It's like I'm so far removed from this. I'm trying to figure out what those are, because they feel like a million years away, like tooth fairy shit. Maybe going to church every Sunday, like that was definitely something that was pushed into my mind as a child. You have to go to church. You have to go to church. And as it got to be an adult, I definitely let that go. But then I started to go again, or just believing in Christianity overall. I definitely felt like, I was dishonoring the Lord or myself or my family if I wasn't a Christian. So now I have a true understanding that, first of all, those are religions, and that was not even here when the beginning was. And so why am I attaching to something myself to something that, Christianity wasn't even like a thing when the world, if there's like an actual day one timestamp, like that was there. Okay. What has always been is source. What has always been is your higher power. What has always been is the Lords, okay? Like Lord, and when I say Lords, at least in my Christian education, we were taught there's a Trinity. So, I mean, we all call things differently. I think I've used this example a trillion times. I'll try to get another French word that I know. But I call, in English, a door a door. In France, you call it a port, okay? So, but we still walk and open them and shut them the same way, okay? It doesn't matter what we call them. So that's the way I very much allow my brain to think of religious beliefs. Is like your religion might call it a port, my religion calls it a door. But ultimately, what should be in there is the spirituality, the actual functionality of the thing that we call it. Yeah, whatever you call it, but it still is probably flat. It probably has some handle that you open it and close it, and it gets you from one place to another. And that's the spirituality aspect of religion. It's like the 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 good stuff, okay? Um, so yeah. All right. So also I'm releasing, again, I feel like I've got this down, but I admit there are times where I will go into micro panics where I'm like, I don't have a check here, it should be here, or there's been a couple days where we haven't had somebody calling us for a job, and I will get into those micro panics, and I can really like feel like right here, like my face gets a little warm, and I'm like, wow, okay, am I gonna, not only is it myself now, I have people that are relying on me for payroll every Friday. So I'll really start to feel for about a good 4 minutes, I get caught up in the lack mentality and fear. And that's because it really had the biggest grip on me for the longest time. So I'm releasing that tonight too. And how I wrote it down is fear, lack mentality for a million future and past lifetimes. Because what we need to realize is that our lifetimes, when you think of past, present, and future, they all are right here at the same time. And how you can try to think about this where maybe it will help make sense to you is when you look at maybe Netflix or Hulu, when you're like pausing and fast forwarding through things and you see all the frames, well, what you're seeing is the past, present, and the future of that movie, but they're all there in the same thing. So that's one thing why I added the million future, past, and present lifetimes. Also because our ancestry is tied to our souls. My great 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 grandfather and grandmother are all right here embodied in my soul. Their memories are my memories. I think that's why there's many times that or there's just a couple things why we might have past lives, because we have been in the past before, because we keep on being recreated and recreated and recreated physically. Spiritually as well. But I know that Christianity has taught us that you have one life, and maybe other religions too. And the thing is that it's not true. You're reborn. Your soul comes back to try to get it right or to try something else. It's really that simple. This is just a game. Ultimately, it doesn't mean anything in the way that we think or have been taught that it means. Not saying that life is meaningless, but it's also not like the end all. Like, oh, if you just don't get it right here, oh well, you're done, you're doomed. It's not like that. And if that's what you believe, then I hope you get it right, honestly, or at least allow yourself to have some. I mean, I can't even go into what I hope for you. Let's see. I'm releasing disease and illness for a million future and past lifetimes. That's what I was trying to tell you. It's about family lineages. I think they say it like in the Bible, the sins of the father. It just goes on and on and on. And it does. So if I'm releasing it for this future and past lifetimes, then I'm also clearing it for my ancestral heritage so that it's not carried on with me, and I'm releasing it for them. Um, and you do have this power. And I know this may sound like, wow, that's out there, or I've never heard of that, or this chick is crazy. Like, that's okay. It's okay to feel uncomfortable with this information. It's okay that if this is not anything that you were ever taught or allowed to think, that's fine. Allow yourself to sit in the uncomfortableness of new, okay? Because it's really all this is new to you maybe. It was definitely new to me at one time, and I was like really rejecting the thing that I was hearing when I was hearing these things. But what I'm thankful for is that I allowed myself to sit in the uncomfortableness so that I could at least allow myself to hear it and then decide if I want to reject it. But to not even just let yourself hear things just because it's like, oh, nope, I wasn't allowed that, or that's not what I learned, or you're just doing yourself a disfavor or disservice. I'm so glad I let myself, I'm just so glad I was in the position that I was in when a lot of the stuff that I was hearing that was just very esoteric and way out from my very fundamentalist Christian Pentecostal upbringing, which was nothing supporting anything that I was learning. I was literally many of the times at clients' homes or in a unit with gloves on, probably cleaning a bathroom, and I just couldn't skip through the YouTube stuff that I was listening to, or whatever media source that it came through. Probably YouTube though. I wasn't allowed. I couldn't unless I stopped my job, and So thank you that it was set up where I had to listen. I had to be uncomfortable. Okay, so that's what I'm releasing. At least that's what I have so far. And there's some personal things on the back of that. I don't know if it's show, but I actually listed names and things like that that I'm releasing. Because a lot of times I get myself very caught up about thinking about certain people, and it can become very, at the very least, I guess, distracting, and then probably also not allowing me completely to move forward because I'm still thinking about certain things. So I feel like for my highest self, I need to release certain people out of my regular thoughts, okay? And when I release them, I did right here, I'm releasing them with love and high hopes for them. Like, it's not like, get out of her, it's like, hey, thanks for being here, like, we're going to have a really nice dinner today, like, and then thanks, bye-bye, go ahead. Like, I'm good. I'm moving forward. All right, so to recap tonight, the full moon is about releasing, and it's very possible all full moons are for releasing and new moons are for manifesting, and I'm just super new. But again, I don't get caught up in rules because ultimately you are the rule. Ultimately, you are the curator. Ultimately, you're the creator and the orchestra director of your dance, of your music, of yourself, okay? So you make up the rules. And then tomorrow, and then yesterday was manifesting. So don't worry if you didn't know and you didn't manifest yesterday, because again, what I just said, but then, as a collective, this is what we're doing tomorrow is manifesting. So tomorrow, if you can actually act out your manifestations, so let's say you want to spend more time golfing, okay, and having fun with your family. Do that tomorrow, okay? And if you can't, let's say you have to work, all right? You need to write this down and say, on Sundays, I'm going to be, or how you doing? Not I'm going to be, because that's telling the universe that you don't have it yet. What has worked for me is when I'm thanking the universe for the things that at the time when I've written it, physically, it is not there for me, okay? but it is there, but I just can't see it. But how I write it is, thank you, universe, thank you, Lord, thank you, angels, thank you, ancestors, for the abundance in lots of work, or in the thank you, the universe, for having assistants that are honest, reliable, um, knowledge seekers, like where they want to learn how to do things. Like, I've literally written all these things down, and they've actually happened. So I believe for myself, what the thing was thanking the universe because they've already happened. I've already accepted. Like a thank you in advance. Um, I think I learned about thank you in advance when I was in my 20s, like when I was learning how to do like my resume and things like that, or in professional business writing. I think my friend told me, like, when you write thank you in advance, you pretty much can seal the deal. And I think it's because it sends, like, subconsciously, like a message to the reader. So maybe that might help somebody, where it makes sense, like, oh, okay, yeah, I do thank you in advance, and that works for me. So it's just, that's what manifesting is, when you write it as a thank you. So yeah, so that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow will be leisure. Like, I'm going to try to act out most of my manifestations, as well as write them, which they were written yesterday. But I will try to think of a couple more things. But what it is that, do you want to not work as much as you're working, but yet you want to still have all the abundance that you would have if you were? Then write out, thank you, universe, for, all the extra jobs. I've been able to hire 7 people now, and, I'm able to have weekends off and hanging out more with my family and friends, as well as blessing these other 7 people now that needed the extra income, and they're able to have more flexibility and abundance in their life. Okay, so it's really about the collective manifesting with you too, because some people might get caught up in, like, well, that sounds really selfish, and that's okay that you might be caught up in that for a moment, but allow yourself to probably get uncaught up in that, because it's really about, if you have manifested, then others are going to manifest around you. That's my experience anyways, and that's the only thing I can share with you guys, is how it's happened for me. I have several feminine energied women in my life that, because of the way that they are, it has also impacted me in a very beautiful, abundant way. And together, it has a reverberating, I think is the word, effect. And that is lovely, as well as it can be disastrous when you look at it in the opposite realm. That's why that the whole, like, was it like crabs in a bucket, or one rotten apple spoils the bunch? I mean, that is true. But when you look at it in reverse, that is also true. And that's what you want to do, is like, take those things, now reverse them. It's easy and it's powerful. And how this really happened for me, and I've shared it with you guys before in other videos, is I literally wrote down my manifestations in a thank you letter, because I already have received them. I am a receiver. So this is what I do. I'm receiving these things all the time. Once you start writing these down, literally, guys, it can really change your life. I had one friend, goddess, who reached out to me, and literally, because, like, I know it works for me, okay? And I know I've been sharing these things, and, like, I'm believing and hoping that they work for you too, okay? And I had one person actually tell me that they literally wrote their manifestations down, and one instantly happened, like within maybe 20 minutes of her writing something down. And it was a major thing for her. I mean, obviously, anything you write down in your manifestations is going to be a major thing, I would imagine. Maybe it's more naps, okay? Maybe it's freaking red wine being on sale, every time you go there. I mean, I don't know. It's whatever it is for you, it's what you want, okay? what else do I want to tell you guys? Don't really have too much to share. One thing that I thought about, where did I write it? Oh, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, sort of. I thought to myself today, because I was thinking, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, I guess I was reflecting on the year. I think that's what it was. And I was thinking about how there's not been school and how there's not been church and how there's not been parents that have gone to work every day. And I do realize with that last thing that that's not been a plus for everybody. Even when you are thinking like the glass is half full, there's still real financial aspects that have been challenging. Okay. And I do understand that. And all I can tell you with all the confidence of what I know and in my heart is that you'll look back at this one day and realize, you know what? I am glad that happened. Because of that happening, this happened. And maybe you can't see it now. I know I certainly couldn't see it, a year and a half ago, and then also 2 years when I had major financial devastation take place in my own life. Like I've shared with you guys before, COVID-19 or quarantine happened to me personally at the end of 2018 and most of 2019. Like I was literally in a really, really serious situation where, I had to ask people to give me money and help me buy groceries, apply for food stamps, try to figure out how I was going to pay rent and things like that. So I do know what it feels like to be in those situations. So I don't want you to think like, well, that's great that you're manifesting, Julie, but it's really been El Seco here for us for the last 7 months. Like, I get it. And I'm not saying it because I'm, been privileged my whole life and I just, live in just not reality. Can't think of the word. But so I just want you to know, if you are going through something challenging right now and you are still feeling the effects, definitely I would encourage you to release that today. Release it today in writing. And also manifest the opposite tomorrow. Because this is what works. This is what's worked. It's worked for me. It's been a whole year now that I've been journaling or writing my manifestations down. I'm going to share with you guys what I wrote today. And I know for any haters out there that my angels, ancestors, spirit guides are blocking the energy. All right, Ashe. Which, with love comes hate, so it is what it is. Hello. But I put, all prior received abundance will multiply. So what I'm doing when I say that is that everything that I have written down as manifestations for the previous months, I'm saying, and those are going to continue and multiply, okay? As I am goddess of Ra, ruler of Ma, curator, creator, and receiver of all high frequency abundance, love, money, luxury, gifts, favors, hedges of protection, unexplained money added to me and mine. I always say me and mine because I'm talking about me and my kids, my family, because I also realize that my family, because of the way that we were raised, don't do this. They don't know how to manifest. It's against their thought process. It's against their religion. It's against their imagination, So I do say for me and mine, and then how that works for the mind part of it is those who have a crack open to things like this, it's going to slide in there. There is free will, so it's not like I'm sitting here taking control over anybody's life. I don't have that power. But free will, or your subconscious, which is what we operate on, I think it's like 80% of the time, knows what is best, knows the real deal. But I say me and mine. So I said, unexplained money added to me and mine, whereas no parties are ill affected by these surprises. So what that means is like, if there's like extra money that is given to me or things like that, that where that came from, the source of that, those people weren't ill affected by that added extra money. In fact, because I'm claiming that as they too are abundant. Okay, so I'm protecting all the sources because I have that power. I have that power. You have that power. Okay, logic balanced with love are calibrated within me and mine. Complete healing, restoration of our minds, bodies, and souls, and chakras. I'm also manifesting long, full eyelashes, relaxed feet, and clear skin for me and mine. Whereas free will be overruled. Oh, whereas, this is a new sentence, by the way. Whereas free will be overruled by our highest self, spirit guides, and high frequency loving ancestors who may protect, reroute, and perform miracles and magic on our behalves. So what I'm saying, because I do understand that there is free will, that I'm turning over my free will to my high frequency loving ancestors, spirit guides, angels, ancestors, the Lord, to reroute me, redirect me, and perform miracles and magic on my behalf for me and mine. May our talents, gifts, and knowledge be heightened and magnified in all of our efforts. Thank you, I am, Lord, ancestors, angels, for all these natural provisions. I put in the word natural because I don't want to affirm that it's nothing but natural. Like, I'm not manifesting, thank you for the air that I breathe every day. Like, that's a natural thing. So why would I think, I mean, you can, okay, but like, I'm not like manifesting air to breathe because it's just a natural function. Like, it already is, okay? We're not talking about like the quality of air and this, that, the other. I'm just talking about like just general purpose air, all right? We seek to honor ourselves, you, and our neighbors with love, Ashe. And then I have written, I am a constant receiver of high frequency energies. So pretty much in a remixed way of different things. There wasn't anything specific in here. Like, it wasn't like, and I'm thankful that for the new car. I'm thankful. I just didn't do that this time. I think the last specific thing I was probably like my assistance, and inner family relationships is like something I specified last month, I believe. But like, to be honest, I haven't like, that's not to say that you shouldn't or don't do it or whatever. I'm just saying like, I haven't manifested like material things. And I think the reason why is because I live in abundance. I've manifested abundance. So it's like all that is just umbrellaed under there anyways. But you literally can do your manifestations how you want to do your manifestations, obviously. But yeah, and so I think what I was trying to say, and I never got to finish, and it goes with manifestations, and I think this was how I was laughing, and then I started talking to you guys about my manifestations, is that I think that our inner child, along with children in general, who have ever said, oh, I wish I didn't have to go to school, or I wish, like, oh, why do we have to go to church every Sunday, or I wish my mom and dad didn't have to go to work. Like, I really believe, like, it came to me today, like, wow, like, it maybe took a long time, okay? Time is fictitious, remember, because they're right there in the same past, present, future, but for what we understand, how things have been, it took a long time, like 100 years, I guess. For many people, they are experiencing those being options, or those being edited for your personal life and what works for you, and never ever in modern time have your supervisors, bosses, employers been more open to curating your work life around your family life. This has never happened before, like literally. It's never happened this way. This is happening now for people. Again, I understand that there are some adverse effects behind this, okay? But you also don't want to focus on those. Focus on the non-adverse effects. You've never had it in your favor as much now, today. If you were to call your boss, and I'm speaking generally, okay? I know somebody's like, well, not my boss, not my job. Okay, I get that. I'm talking collectively and generally, and that's what we have to focus on, is you can say, hey, well, my child isn't going to school, or I'm worried about getting COVID from work. Then there's a way for you to work at home, 9 out of 10, at least 7 out of 10. All right. And I guess my advice would be that if you work someplace where there's no type of COVID quarantine provisions in regards to a safe workplace or options for work, or when your child isn't in school or things like that, then I would look into like what you can report to the government about that, because they're very much on things being safe. I would look into what you can do in that regard, and then I would also start manifesting another job. That's just all you have to do. Manifest another job. Manifest something else. You don't have to be there anymore. You're there because you're there. Now, if you don't want to be there anymore, then start transitioning to the next. That's all you have to do. It seems like it's hard because you can tell yourself, well, it's not that easy, Julie. You know, I have all these things that I have to do. And I know, like, I get it. Like, I do understand that. But it's also like, there's the other side. You know, you could tell me like, but you know, Abraham Lincoln's on the penny. Like, can't you just see, like, he's on the penny? Like, hello? Yeah, but what's on the other side? Not Abraham Lincoln, okay? So you just have to focus on, well, what's on the other side of this? What's on the other side of this shitty experience right now? And that's what you focus on. That's what you give most of your energy to, because when you give most of your energy to the other side, to the transition, to the shift, to the lemonades out of lemon, then that's where the magic, that's where the miracles, that's where everything gets empowered. And it's like a launching pad to what it is that you're trying to change in your life. And so I'm just sharing this from my heart to you guys so that you can truly understand that this is real. Can happen. I lost over like, ultimately, like total at one time, about $2,700 a month in my income, which most of it, well, I guess half of it was like child support. Some of it was a new job, and then some of it was contract work associated with that job, because I was a contractor with them, and then they hired me as an employee, so I had dual income from one source, and then I had child support, and I lost it all immediately within first the child support, and then probably 5 months later, then both of those sources of income. So it was like, I think 2,700 is probably like, it probably might have been almost 3,000 a month that I lost. And so it was very detrimental to me. I did not like, it was like most of, at that time, my whole income. Like, I think I was left after that with just having like a couple residential clients that I had kept so that I could work around like that job. It wasn't very much. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I lost spousal support. I still had child support. So like what I was left with at the end of the month was not even enough for my rent. Okay. And like, I'm a full grown woman with like rent, 2 cars, and all the things that we have. Okay. Like a single mom, like, hello. So you can figure it out, like, if you're making less than rent, that must have been like a huge struggle for you. And now I'm on the other side of that, where not only, and now my child's like going to be 19, has been 18 since December, so I don't even get child support anymore and haven't had child support since June. I think June was my last one because she was still in high school. Okay, she hadn't graduated yet. So I've been child support free since June. So that's July, August, September, October. So 4 months now. Plus, because of how I started manifesting these things starting last September, that's so weird. Like I actually, okay, so wait a minute. I got my assistant in August. So literally, like, that's crazy. Like my payroll now, every Friday, probably, yeah, like it's literally the same amount or more than what my actual child support was. So not only do I not get child support, but I am a receiver of such abundance that I'm able to, what was killing me to lose and not have in one aspect of my reality, I am now giving it away in payroll. Like, here you go, have it, it's yours. And it is not affecting me at all. And it's the same amount of money, but it's two different circumstances. Like, so even right now, I'm like, this is really powerful, but it's like so powerful. Like, I'm going to probably have to think about this a little bit longer, but it's like, it's the same thing that happened with different results. And that all has to do with your mindset too, and being an alchemist. And of course, obviously there's fiscal support on this end where it wasn't on this end too. So I get that part as well. But I think my prime example of that was just showing you that you have this power to change these things in your life, whatever it is that you're experiencing and you don't want to anymore, then change it. Literally, you have this power to do it too. So, like, look, all the kids manifested us, parents not working as much, not having to go to church all the freaking time, or at least on Sundays, and not going to school. And some of this is coming back. I get that. Like, there are certain things that are coming back, but it's more of a custom version of like, well, how do you want this in your life? We were told that how important it was to go to church, how important it was to go to work every day, how important it was to go to school every day. Because if you didn't, I mean, these are just 3 things, okay? But if you didn't do these things, you would not have a full, rich life, right? I know that's what was like completely pressed into me as a child. You go to school, you go to church, and you go to work. Don't steal, don't have sex before marriage. Okay, like that's pretty much my childhood right there. All right, and somehow we've managed to not only survive not going to school, not going to work in the way that we were anyways, and not going to church for some of you. Like, I've been church free for a minute. Like, I am the church. Okay, you are the church. Okay. But I no longer go into a physical building anymore, and the only church I would ever go to in a physical building is MCC Church, okay, because they are LGBTQ embracing, and as they should be, as all churches should be, but that's a whole other show. And I don't mean like, oh, we love you, we love all sinners, not that kind of embracing. That's like bullshit. I'm talking about like really like, oh no, you guys are good, we're all good. Like, this is the way that we are created for an intentional purpose type of good. But like I said, that's a whole other show. But yeah, like here we are all not going to church every day or every Sunday, not able to go to our churches, not able to go to our work in the same way that we did. Maybe you were doing 40, 60 hours a week, and children not going to school. I know that when that happened, it was like, I know so many people were shook for every reason why we would be shook. And kids are totally probably way, not for everybody. I do get that there are certain children that routine is super important to them. And all I would say is that routine is super important to all children. And I understand that it is super important to other children, but just create a new routine. I would just say that. Then there's a new routine. And it's better for children that are so attached to routine to learn at a young age that routines are going to change. So if anything, I guess this is just me, the alchemist in me. It might sound like the asshole in me, but it's like I'm not being sensitive to what you may be going through. But I'm just saying if it's gonna happen, I would rather learn it young than wait, when we're all, some of us, the people that have had the hardest time with this are the adults. The children are okay. So just use that as your example if you don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, my mouth is dry now, so the show's gonna have to end. We're going to release tonight for the blue moon, and tomorrow we're going to manifest. So do what you can tomorrow to act out the life that you want to manifest tomorrow. Play pretend, use your imagination, do everything, because you're kind of sealing it. Okay, and I don't say that in a scary way. I say that in a fun, fantastic way. And then if you can't act it out, then write the play script for it. You are the writer. You are the director of this new movie. What do you want the movie to be? Who are the characters? What is your role in this movie? Write it out, because this is where it starts. And then it's done. It's done. It has happened. And the power and today and tomorrow is that collectively a lot of us are going to be doing this. But you have this blue moon, manifest, released, whenever it is that you want to have it. So just know that. I don't get caught in rituals. And I mean, I I have a nice little pink quartz. I am the pink quartz, okay? I am the sage. You are the sage. You are the pink quartz. So understand that this is symbolic. And yes, there is true energy in crystals, okay? And that is science. But I am the crystal. I am the crystalline, okay? And when you understand that you have these crystals in your DNA, in your light codes, in your codes, then you understand that, yes, and now there's more, okay? But if you take it away, there's all this crystal right here, honey, okay? So that's it. Love you guys. Bye. Bye, YouTube.